I went home for my laptop and heard my wife planning my death. I wasn't supposed to be home that morning. If I hadn't forgotten my laptop charger, I probably would have died without ever knowing why. That thought still wakes me up at night. My name is Daniel Hayes, and for 12 years I believed I was married to the most loyal woman in the world. I was wrong. The morning that changed everything. It was an ordinary Tuesday. I had already driven nearly 20 minutes toward work when I realized my charger was missing. My presentation was stored locally. No charger meant no battery meant disaster. I muttered under my breath, annoyed at myself. I turned the car around. I remember thinking how normal everything felt. The sky was pale blue, traffic was light. Nothing in the world suggested my life was about to split into a before and after. When I pulled into the driveway, I noticed her car was still there. Strange, she usually left early for her yoga classes. I entered quietly, not wanting to startle her. The house felt the same, familiar, safe, until I heard her voice, soft, calm, whispering from our bedroom. "We'll adjust the dosage tonight." I froze mid-step. There was a man's voice responding, low, confident. "She hasn't noticed?" My chest tightened. Then my wife, Laura, laughed softly, the same laugh she used when she wrapped herself around me in winter nights. "No," she said gently, "Daniel trusts me." Hearing my own name in that tone felt like ice sliding down my spine. The word that broke me. I stood in the hallway, unable to move. Then she said something that shattered everything. "Once it's finalized, everything transfers to me." Transfers, not ours, not shared. Transfers, ownership, final. I didn't storm in. I didn't yell. I stepped backward quietly and left the house. Outside, I sat in my car staring at the steering wheel. My hands weren't shaking. That terrified me more than anything. Then my phone buzzed. "Laura, did you reach work safely?" I stared at the message. She had just lied to me while standing 15 feet away, and she sounded affectionate. I didn't reply. Not yet, because suddenly I understood something important. If she thought I was unaware, she would feel safe, and people make mistakes when they feel safe. Playing the role. I waited 10 minutes before re-entering the house, this time making noise. Keys clinked in the bowl. "Laura?" I called casually. Bedroom door opened. She stepped out, adjusting her hair. Perfect smile. "Hey," she said warmly. "Forget something?" Her eyes scanned me quickly, assessing. "My charger," I replied. She walked closer and kissed my cheek. Her lips were warm, practiced, convincing. I looked into her eyes. No guilt, no fear, just control. The question that changed everything. In the kitchen, she poured coffee. "How are you feeling today?" she asked lightly. Not, "Why are you back?" Not, "How is your day?" "How are you feeling?" That question felt wrong, clinical, measured, like she was collecting data. I took the coffee. Dark, bitter. I didn't drink it. The night, confirmation. That night, I pretended to fall asleep early. She stayed awake beside me, scrolling on her phone. Every few minutes, she glanced at me, watching, testing. After 10 minutes, she slipped out of bed. I followed quietly. In the kitchen, she whispered, "Yes, he's asleep." Pause. "No, he hasn't noticed." My stomach dropped. I increased it last week. Increased. My pulse roared in my ears. I stepped back into the bedroom before she returned. When she lay beside me again, her hand rested on my chest, counting, monitoring, waiting. That's when I understood. She wasn't afraid of losing me. She was managing my decline. The truth in blood. 3 days later, I visited a private clinic across town. Cash payment, no insurance. 2 hours later, the doctor came back differently composed. "Mr. Hayes, are you prescribed benzodiazepines?" "No." He showed me the results. Elevated levels, repeated exposure. My wife had been sedating me, not once, not accidentally, repeatedly. I walked out of the clinic numb. My phone buzzed. "Laura, did you drink your coffee this morning?" Not, "How's your day?" Not, "I love you." Just that. She wasn't checking on me. She was tracking her progress. The lawyer. I contacted an attorney that same afternoon, but not just any attorney. I called Marcus Reed, the lawyer Laura recommended years ago when we drafted our will. He knew us, trusted her. He listened carefully as I placed the toxicology report in front of him. "Do not confront her," he said calmly. "Not yet." That word mattered. Yet. He explained strategy, evidence, documentation, protection. If she believes you're deteriorating, she'll accelerate, and that gives us proof. The performance. I went home and began acting weaker. Slower movements, occasional confusion, forgetting small details. She noticed, and relief flickered in her eyes. At dinner, she watched me struggle slightly. "You okay?" she asked softly, concern in her voice, anticipation in her eyes. "I'm just tired." She squeezed my hand, tender, cold, because she thought it was working. The silent reversal. Within 48 hours, my will was rewritten, beneficiaries changed, accounts secured, assets moved, surveillance installed legally in shared areas. Everything she thought she would inherit, gone, legally untouchable. She didn't know. She kept making coffee every morning, kept watching me drink, kept waiting. One night at 2:07 a.m., I unlocked her phone. She never imagined she needed to hide anything from a dying man. The last message she sent was, "He's declining faster now. Soon it'll all be mine." Not ours, mine. The final morning. I gave her one more morning. She hummed in the kitchen, sunlight on her shoulders, coffee in hand, confident, certain. She handed me the mug. I set it down untouched. "I need to show you something," I said calmly. Her smile faded, not dramatically, just a flicker. I placed the toxicology report on the counter. Silence. Then I added, "I've already spoken to an attorney." Her face didn't show panic. It showed calculation, searching for an exit. There wasn't one. "You weren't watching me die," I said quietly. "I was watching you expose yourself." I picked up my keys. She didn't follow, didn't speak, didn't move, because for the first time in 12 years,